All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the first. Actually, this is not the first. This is the second IoTeXperts webinar slash live stream. This is our bi-weekly live stream brought to you by the folks at IoTeX. My name is Robert Wolf, and I will be your host. Each of these live streams will start with developer updates, followed by in-depth conversation about IoTeX and this growing developer ecosystem. We're going to be joined by featured experts, and we'll discuss in-depth topics tailored for developers to showcase opportunities, explore resources, and bring new and exciting IoTeX developments to light. Each event will finish off with audience Q&A. Now, I say each event will finish off with audience Q&A, but in fact, if you have questions throughout the live stream, feel free to drop those questions inside the chat there on YouTube where you're watching us, and we will get those questions answered as soon as possible. There are several people from IoTeX joining us. They'll be able to answer these questions. Now, again, we are focused on developer-related topics. So hopefully we are joined by some developers in there. Now, if you do have questions about the community or any sort of other stuff that you've been tampering with on IoTeX, please bring those forward, and hopefully we can get to those questions as well. Now, I want to apologize first and foremost. Last week, we were supposed to be doing this live stream. It is a bi-weekly live stream, but last week, unfortunately, I had some personal stuff. I wasn't able to make it, so we pushed it to this week. You can keep an eye on the Discord server. So if you're not in the Discord server yet, you can go find it on IoTeX.io. We'll share that link in the description afterwards. And you can join the Discord server. We have a whole bunch of crazy cool events that we post in there, including our office hours, which happens right before this live stream every week. And yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. Now, I know we're joined by Simone and Jeremi. You may know Jeremy from the IoTeX server, Discord server. Of course, he's in there nonstop helping everyone with their support, developer, and just general community questions all the time. And then, of course, Simone, who's in there as well as our lead admin of the whole server, running things from the highest levels. So we are joined by these two IoTeXperts to bring you the latest and greatest. So let me bring them in here real quick, and let's get to know them. Oh, and I want to say one more thing here. If you do like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. I already see 16 likes on there. Smash that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the IoTeX official YouTube channel so that you can watch these live streams all the time. We go live again every 2 weeks, and you'll get a chance to kind of hang out with us and ask your questions here. I am following the chat, so we will make sure that we bring any questions presented there to our featured experts, IoTeXperts here. Hello, Simone, and hello, Jeremy. Welcome.
Hello, Robert. Hello, everybody.
Jeremy, we didn't get to hear your wonderful voice. It was muted. Oh, you unmuted and then remuted. There, try. Oh, you're hello, unmuted Robert. Now. There you go. Hello. All right, cool. So let's do a really quick round of introductions. I know, Simone, you were on here last time we went live, but I think it's still good. Let's do another introduction here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for IoTeX, and then we'll do a roundtable here, and we'll hit Jeremy next.
Sure. So my name is Simone Romano, developer relations at IoTeX, responsible for the developers community growth. My background is in computer engineering, industrial automation, machine vision, and stuff like that. And I moved to blockchain 3 years ago when I got to know about this new technology and specifically about IoTeX, which was so much related to machines and IoT and blockchain that I fell in love with this white paper, with their white paper. And so I started looking into it more and more, and eventually I'm now part of the IoTeX core team very happily. And yeah, mostly learning myself how MachineFi works and trying to create as much content for developers as possible. And I'm going through a few updates today for developers.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you know what? I think I have a little bit of a similar story when it comes to noticing IoTeX. Well, first we interviewed Larry and Xing on my other live stream that I do with ARM. And, after that, I started doing some research into IoTeX, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the future. Blockchain integrated hardware for the IoT world. It's just great. This is amazing stuff that everyone is doing with IoTeX. And of course, the more that IoTeX does and gives out to the community, the more the developers can do to give back to the community in IoTeX. So this is just great. Look at Jeremy. People are talking about you in the chat. They're happy to see what you look like. I think you're muted again. Yeah. But okay.
I didn't want to disturb Simone. Yeah, I see that, Carrie. I saw that comment.
Yeah, you're famous.
Yeah. Everybody happy. Everybody happy to see you. Everybody happy to see you. You have been in the dark for too long.
Yeah, I'm representing the JRPC hacking network. I like to keep in the dark, but jokes aside, I'm happy to see so much involvement in the community recently. Everything's okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Did you want to tell a little bit more about yourself? I know you said you're representing the JRPC network, and everyone knows you from Discord. Do you want to give us like a little personal anecdote? Like, who is Jeremy?
Okay. Well, my name is Jeremi, or Jeremy in English. I come from a Polish heritage. I was born in Australia. I finished my bachelor's degree in computer science. It's more or less computer science. It was a Bachelor of Multimedia Software Development. My major, I guess, point of study was data structures and patterns. I got a distinction in that subject. I managed to complete my degree, and then I started working at different companies. And now I'm working at, I finished working at ABB, Iris Brown Boveri. It's a company that creates machines and robotic arms, and it's very high-tech equipment. And now I work at Dassault Systems, which helps, it provides software to help the engineering design of machining equipment and different sorts of military equipment, airplane design, and lots of different parts of the design process and manufacturing. That's my current role. Infrastructure design and for Dassault Systems, and I work part-time, so to speak, for IoTeX on the Discord server. I help the community, and I try to do my best to support the IoTeX ecosystem.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, so we're here to talk about developer updates. And I want to say, last time we did this call, Simone, we were on Zoom. We were doing the whole webinar thing. We weren't able to stream it live. So it was a little different. I would like it if maybe we could almost somewhat start over, touch a little bit on what we talked about in our last call, but then dive into your current updates. I see that we have this document here fully filled up with a bunch of cool stuff that you'd like to update us with.
Right. I hope I will remember what we have been talking about 3 weeks ago. There are so many things going on for developers at IoTeX. So definitely, I remember that I anticipated something about our developers portal release. We have been talking about the new IoTeX core protocol release that was 1.8.1, which eventually has been released to delegate. It's not something that is mandatory to be installed, but it's anyway advised for every delegate to update 1.8.1, which basically introduces WebSockets API for its Ethereum clients directly into the node. So whoever is using an IoTeX full node as gateway, it simplifies the life much more. I'm sure we've been talking about many different things, and we got so many questions the past time. I just can't remember everything, to be honest. So yeah, I guess we can switch to some more updates. Actually, there is a lot going on. But I just try to put together a few things to get the conversation going. And of course, the idea is to get more questions, to get questions from the community. So feel free to ask your questions live, and we will stop from time to time.
I am pulling these questions as they come up in the YouTube channel. So yes, as Simone just said, make sure you post those questions. One that just strikes me right now by Wrong Again, who joins our office hours as well. Developer Portal is live. Simone, yes, right?
Hey,
Beta?
yeah. How can I share my screen? Can I do it?
You should be able to. At the bottom,
Let
there's
me
a share
see.
screen button, and then I'll bring it in.
Share screen 2. Let's see.
There we go.
Here we go. So, as anticipated during last episode, the developers the developers portal beta has been released, and it's open for everybody to take a look. There is not so much content, but we are filling up the portal with more and more content to help developers understand better what they can build with IoTeX. And I'm sure there will be a lot of interest around the tutorials that we have been publishing and the new ones that we will be publishing. So let me actually open this website and take a look.
Yeah, so Simone and your team, Simone, have put a lot of work into building out this developer network. And I must say, so like I've worked for developer communities for all of maybe 5 or 6 years now. And I think Simone nailed it here. So, you know, the bigger picture here of the developer hub that you have going on, Simone, it's key.
Yeah, great. Really actually, yeah, very happy. We put some resources into this project. We are still in the beginning of all the vision that we have for the developer portal. Yeah, let's go through it. Actually, this project was intended to be a product for the community. Let me find my notes here. So it's mostly based, designed around the 3 main sections. One section is like the get started part, which is visible on the homepage. Another section is the academy part, and another section is the blog part. These are not the only ones. There are more sections to come, and the most important one is probably the one related to the community grants, so the Halo grants that we want to move to this developer portal to complete the funnel, or let's say use the developer experience from start to end, from the get started through the tutorials, through the blogs, and eventually to the submission of your own projects to the Halo community grants for IoTeX. So let's very quickly take a look at what we have on this portal. So in the home screen, let me show you what we have on the right side. We want this to be a place for you to stay up to date with what's going on developer related. So kind of isolating all the news and all the stuff that are developer. So on the right side, you see all live feeds. So we start with some numbers here from the blockchain. These are live numbers. So every 5 seconds, every block, you get updated numbers here. And we will expand with more information in the future. This is always useful for developers to have a way to quickly take a look at what's the last height if you're building, and maybe on testnet here, you can switch to testnet data. If you're building, just waiting for a specific epoch, for a specific block, and it's always good to have a live view, easily accessible on the website. Then you get this is sure.
How do you do this? Is it
we use the Antenna SDK. But you can only do it with Antenna SDK. Basically, you can get the height with Web3.js, but not the epoch, and probably also not the transactions per second. So with the Antenna SDK, which wraps the native IoTeX protocol, you have a nice get chain meta API call that gives you all the informations, including transactions per second and many other. And this is basically querying an IoTeX gateway directly. So an IoTeX blockchain gateway directly, not going through the API. It's always good to have a way to compare data with the actual data on the blockchain. So yeah, then we have the feed for the latest tweets. So you get to the homepage here and you get a quick view of what's going on. So the latest tweets and from the IoTeX developer Twitter, as well as the latest blogs that actually get published on this portal as well. So you get a quick view of the latest news. You stay up to date with what's going on for developers, and then we have the quick starts here, where, well, we made the choice to publish 3 different quick starts because the IoTeX tech stack is pretty big and still in development. So decided to have 2 side quick starts and 1 main quick start. So the main quick start takes you through deploying a simple architecture to get started with the MachineFi application, while the left one is Web3 oriented. So for those who are familiar with Web3, just want to get an idea how to deploy their EVM contracts or their Ethereum clients, how to interact with the IoTeX blockchain. And the third one is more for those who are coming here because they are interested into hardware, into open hardware, how to connect it to the blockchain. And this quick start here gives you an idea of how to connect directly with a device to the IoTeX blockchain. So as a client of the IoTeX blockchain directly.
Maybe we should post a link in the chat for users to open the portal.
Yeah. And also, Simone, I'd like to kind of talk about the whole tipping mechanism that we have going on the IoTeX.
We are going through everything.
Excellent. All right, cool.
No worries. So yeah, just scrolling down, we just have a quick view of the featured tutorials that we have in the academy, and some more like informational section that we will expand in the future. Second important section is the academy section. That's where things happen. Here you can quickly go through the content that we have on this portal. It's not so much, it's in beta version. We're waiting for your feedback here. But assuming we are going to have a growing academy of content, you can filter by category if you are interested in quick starts, tutorials, or guides, or if you want to filter by difficulty, and we just added videos integrated into tutorials, into content, so that you can have content, written content side by side with the video guide of the content. And so you can also filter if you are more interested in more easy to follow guides. So those that include a video, you can also filter for only content with video, which I think is very useful for those who want to learn. And you can also very quickly search. We implemented a full text search into any content on the portal. So if you are interested, say in, I don't know, like MachineFi, you just type whatever you're interested in, and you just find the content that you're looking for. So an interesting thing that you will see here is start contributing. Total articles and pending contributions here. So the idea is that everybody in the community is invited to contribute to this portal. So we want to make it kind of an archive of projects, guides, demos, tutorials, quick starts, examples, idea, whatever you build on IoTeX and you think is worth submitting to help other developers or to find people to improve your project. And so anybody can just start contributing. Currently, you just click here. This will take you to this dev portal content repository where you are supposed to fork the repository. I think I've already forked it. No, you fork the repository and eventually you just clone it to your computer. You add a file into the academy, which represents your tutorial. And eventually you submit this as a pull request to the repository. It will show up here as a pending contribution, and we will review. Maybe there will be some discussion on GitHub about your content, and eventually we will approve it, and you can build your profile as a developer on the IoTeX portal including all your content.
That's the first developer test right there, is that if you can't use GitHub or version control.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to participate that much. Here, there is the first big filter. And so,
how
for
can
example,
you embed the video? How can you embed the video in the post?
Yeah,
you can get an embed from.
Yeah, it's just in terms of contribution. When you contribute your content to GitHub, in the header section, you will mention the link to your YouTube video. Then when we merge the content and we create like the content on the website, we import it on the website. We will also set up like the metadata for your content, including the link to the YouTube video that will be then embedded into the content like this one. So the interesting part of this contribution is that, for example, I myself, I've contributed this very old guide that I had on Axter a long time ago about how to run an IoTeX full node on a Raspberry Pi. So I contributed this as an example here. So anybody can see it's contributed by me. So you start building your profile as an IoTeX developer. And anybody in the community, either developers or non-developers, regardless if they have a profile on this website, if they like your content, if they want to incentivize you create more, then they can tip or donate tokens to your content, to your article. So for example, I can tip this article here, for example, 10 IoTeX. And this is very, very accessible. You don't have to really do anything. So tipping is really frictionless. And this will hopefully encourage developers and builders to share their work with others. So as you see, just send, sorry?
I have a question. Do you need to have the IoTeX network already added to MetaMask to tip?
If you don't have, it will be. It will ask you automatically to add it when you try tipping. I
think there should also be like a button that you could click to take you to an exchange to buy some IoTeX, right? If you don't have any.
If you don't have IoTeX, that's a good advice, right? Great,
good feature.
Yeah, great new feature. Absolutely. Let me take note actually. So as you see, this article collected 20 IoTeX as a tip. And I can go to my profile because I'm the author of this content. I can go to my profile here and I see all the things that I can do here. So as you see, my profile is connected to my GitHub account. This is another filter, guys. If you don't have a GitHub account, you cannot register to this website. So the registration is actually logging in with GitHub here. And so what you can see here is that I collected 20 IoTeX. I cannot claim my tips, my donations, because they are locked, I think for 30 days, if I'm not wrong. Then after 30 days, tips that are older than 30 days can be collected, and I will be able to claim my tips here. And here you see how many tips, how many IoTeX you have claimed already. And in this profile is also very useful for developers because you can, every day, you can just come here and claim some test tokens if you need them for development. For example, I have I have a lot of test tokens, so I can claim. And eventually, this should increase by 100, I think. We should be able to claim, here you go, 100 test tokens every day. So next time I will be able to claim tomorrow. And here you can do some more configuration, like you can set different wallet addresses that you have and decide which one you want to use as the recipient for donations for your content. And these tips and these content contributions, the same concept applies to blogs. So we want people from the community, influencers, or anybody who thinks is an expert into a specific topic that is related to IoTeX, related to MachineFi, related to IoT, blockchain, whatever. You think you are an expert, you think you can talk about it, then you are incentivized to contribute your content, your article, your blog, and start building more and more your profile, your presence on the IoTeX portal. And here you see basically all developer-related blogs. So news about the latest releases, of course, from IoTeX, updates. You get the recaps of these live streams that we are doing every 2 weeks. So here you get, for example, the past live stream, you get both the video and a nice written recap of what we have been talking about every time. So even if you
who does the review, Simone? Who does the review of the submissions?
Well, so far we do it internally with the Dev Champions team. But as I said the other time, the Dev Champions team inside the IoTeX team is intended to expand and become like a community Dev Champions team. So in the future, we also want to introduce more Web3 concepts into this website and probably add some decentralized some DAO concepts into this approval, especially for the community grants, but why not also for approving content that goes into the portal.
So Simone, we got a question. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, I was just going to comment that you could just choose them based on their GitHub contributions, right?
Also.
But anyway, continue, Robert.
Yeah, so we did get a question in here from Will McCann asking regarding the whole tipping mechanism on this new developer hub. Can you use the tip system with IoPay, or must it be MetaMask only?
Currently, it only supports MetaMask, but well, you can tip directly the auth or using any wallet that you want if you just copy paste his recipient address, but of course it will not show up on the portal. Currently it only supports MetaMask, and I think this will be the only option, because anyway you can manage any IoTeX wallet and feature through MetaMask, so that's the most accessible way. By the way, after the 1.8 release of the blockchain, you can also stake with MetaMask. So MetaMask is basically covering every action on the IoTeX.
Yeah, but Simone, just hold on a minute, because if you open IoPay Mobile and you use the Discover tab, for example, to launch this application, why can't you just connect to this portal using
sorry, I
Mobile?
was actually talking
You're
about
thinking of the desktop.
Yeah, I was thinking about the desktop version of the portal. Of course, yeah, good observation. Of course, if you are browsing from the mobile IoPay, everything is supported, because the mobile IoPay is Web3 compatible, it's fully compatible with MetaMask, and it's actually recognized as a MetaMask browser by the portal. So everything that is doable from the portal using MetaMask from desktop, you can do the same from IoPay mobile.
So short answer, no, you can only use MetaMask on the browser of your desktop or laptop, but yes, you could use IoPay on your phone.
Yes,
through,
to interact with the
Discover
developer portal.
Yes, perfect. All right, well, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question, Will. Thank you for the question.
Any other question?
Well, there are some more questions, not necessarily about the hub. Would you like to take a little break and answer a couple questions?
Yes, actually, we have done, I would say, with the introduction to the developer portal. So we can take more questions. And
all right. So these are going to be focused around the Pebble Tracker. And it seems to be a pretty common topic that comes up. There's two questions that came in. They're both roughly the same question. One is, when is the right time to undust my Pebble Tracker? And the other one is, any news about the Pebble Tracker? People really want to use this thing.
I know. I want to use it as well. So one important thing is to start teaching more developers how to build using Pebble Tracker. So of course, we realize this is the first step, right? So making it more accessible to developers will, of course, allow to build applications that every user can use. And honestly, in these live streams, I will focus more on this part. So how to use Pebble Tracker to start building applications. Regarding when this will be available, I would say, as I said also the other time, actually, this is strictly connected to the development and the release of the WebStream layer, the layer 2 of the IoTeX tech stack. Nonetheless, I think before the end of the year, there will be something released by IoTeX that Pebble owners can use to mine tokens in terms of incentives. Meanwhile, developers are building. I don't have more details about this, but I will provide them. I will ask on your behalf and give you the correct answer.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Pebble Tracker is a development enablement device or a developer enablement device, but the device requires developers to build stuff on it. And so I think, with this new web portal, with the efforts that Simone and his team and all of us and all of you out there are putting into kind of building this community of developers, the more developers we get attracted to this community, the more cool stuff is going to be built on these platforms, and thus the more cool stuff you all will get to use on these platforms. So I think this is kind of what it comes down to. Right?
Exactly. Regardless of any incentive program that can be run or not run around the Pebble Tracker, that's not going to solve anything. I mean, the important step here to make it easy for developers to create applications for Pebble Tracker. And it's actually not so complicated. It's just about releasing some examples after all. So yeah, let's do that. And anybody is invited to test the tutorials and contribute their projects as well to make it easier and easier for anybody to do it.
So we have another question here. This is definitely out of my scope, but Will McCann, again, the same person who asked about the Pebble Tracker, is asking, why does IoTeX use Microsoft Bing for the Pebble Tracker map feature? I would think IoTeX would utilize Google Maps, which is more accurate than Bing Maps in my experience. Currently about a 300-meter offset from actual Pebble location using Bing Maps. Is this something that you're able to address?
Let me answer this one very quickly. First of all, I think the user here is talking about the map that is used on the MachineFi portal. So the actual map widget that's used on the
provider has nothing to do with the accuracy.
Yes, exactly.
From what I understand.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just the component that's used on the MachineFi portal to display the map. It has nothing to do with the accuracy and with the actual location. The location is sent from the device itself, and it's detected from it's read from the GPS antenna. It's not taken by any third-party service or modified in any way. The reason why it's offset, and it's actually offset by more than 300 meters, I think around 500 meters, it's because, well, I guess we can switch very quickly to this slide at this point. It's because currently, when you get a Pebble Tracker in your hands, the default firmware will send verifiable data, including location, but also temperature, ambient light, accelerometer, gyroscope, and so on, to an IoTeX, let's say, developer layer 2 node, which basically does only the device authorization and data integrity verification against the device identity that's stored on the blockchain. And if everything is good, it stores the data into a database. This database is open for everybody to query. Not only the MachineFi portal that queries this node and shows the data on a map, plus all the other sensors data in a table, but anybody can query this GraphQL for testing purposes or for testing purposes. So for this reason, the default firmware is sending a rounded GPS location for, let's say, privacy reason. So that's because anybody can just query this data from these nodes. So just want to avoid if anybody can associate a device with a person to be able to track this person accurately on a map. But eventually, what you will be able to...
Simone, sorry to interrupt you, but I actually had a similar situation with a stolen phone or a lost phone where the Google Find My Phone feature also doesn't provide accurate data just straight up, It's a matter of settings. So as I understand it, you've explained it to me earlier, the configuration has to be changed, has to be modified and flashed onto the device, and then the Pebble Tracker can send the accurate data.
Yes,
This is my understanding.
regarding the Find My Phone, that's because usually you lose it indoor in your apartment, maybe. In this case, the GPS location cannot be accurate because it's going to use cellular networks and Wi-Fi radio data to try to interpolate your position. That's usually the reason why it's not accurate. But if you lose your phone outdoor in the street and you try to find my phone, it will be very, very accurate. In this case, as you said, yes, we have released a tool to easily configure the Pebble Tracker for a developer or also for a user, which basically allows you to send the data, to direct the data to a different node, which is your layer 2 node, as well as to set which sensors you want to use, as well as if you want GPS to be accurate or non-accurate. And then in your server, you will implement your IoT logic, which could be probably different from the very simple logic of the default node, but will for sure still include a device authorization and ownership check, storage of the data maybe, and then eventually will interact with your own token economic on the IoTeX blockchain, for example, to send out rewards or to mint NFTs or whatever your application Pebble Tracker based is supposed to do for your owners. The good thing about Pebble Tracker for developers is that in actually it's very, very accessible. It's wrapping all the complexity of building verifiable hardware. It's already designed by us, both on the hardware security and on the firmware security. It's tamper-proof hardware, tamper-proof data. All the devices have been registered already on the blockchain. So when your node receives the data, you can very easily verify the signature of the data, check against the public key that have been registered on the IoTeX blockchain, and make sure this data is coming from a Pebble Tracker. So you can trust it's been actually read by the sensors. It's not fake data. It's not the simulator sending this data, and then implement your specific IoT logic on top of the data, and eventually implementing your token economics on the IoTeX blockchain and building your Pokemon Go game or your rewards for doing something in the real life or for going somewhere in the real world. And you don't have to design a device. You don't have to manufacture a device. You don't have to take care about security, about verifiability, about data integrity. You don't have to take care about anything. The device is already here. They are already registered. You only have to verify the signature into your custom logic, and that's it.
And we talked about this in the last stream. I believe it came up as to why did we need a separate device to do these things when everyone already carries a phone around? Why couldn't we just use a phone? And I think the answer was that the phones haven't caught up with this technology just yet. Phones don't include the necessary security components that are integrated into the IoTeX Pebble Tracker.
Let's say that if you build custom hardware, if you build custom hardware, like in this case, it's a device. You can, thanks to the secure element, you can identify uniquely the firmware that's generating the data, because on this device can only run one single firmware, and you can also make it read-only. Okay, so on a mobile phone, maybe because there is a secure element on a mobile phone as well, maybe you can identify the device, but you cannot easily identify the software, the application that's generating the data. Could be a simulator using the same secure element on the device to sign the data. So on smartphone, you have to do a little bit more work. And we are also working on this. I don't know if I can share anything about it, but I can share maybe this, which is like a preview.
The Meta Pebble.
The inside scoop. Yeah, you saw it here first.
Yeah, you saw it first.
Yeah. Simone, whenever you do something like that, you have to look right into the camera. You have to say, you saw it here first. No, very, very cool. Yeah. So,
but Robert, I mean, you can't put a mobile phone inside of a truck for logistics tracking systems, right? So, I mean, this is where the Pebble Tracker comes in handy.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, but the Pebble Tracker was designed to be a developer product.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So-
you can even open it. It's designed to be opened inside the box. There are other components to make it actually naked, and then you integrate it into your machine.
It's like a prototype where you can build your system around it. So in the future, you can just plug in components, like the device will just be a component into your system.
Yes, but limited
Yeah.
to the GPS location, it's a great personal device for decentralized games. And if you mount it in a specific supervised way, it could be also a nice verifiable weather station.
Oh, hey, you know what? That's a great segue, actually, because I just got a question on YouTube about this. This is from Damian Napoles, and he is asking, when will it be possible to connect other IoT sensors like a weather station? I'm a meteorologist, and I know the importance of these weather measurements as much more now with climate change. So the Pebble Tracker can be used as somewhat of a weather station.
Yeah, it's already possible. Now, depending on how accurate you want to make this weather station, I don't know if it's for scientific telemetry or for commercial telemetry. Let's say that Pebble Tracker sensors are pretty accurate for commercial use. So it can detect temperature, can detect humidity, air pressure, also air quality, but indoor air quality. So not pollution, not outdoor air quality, and ambient light, and so on. So
It's also
you can
not
already,
waterproof, right?
it is weatherproof. It is
It
weatherproof.
is. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
So you can already use it as a weather station. Just this case is not really, it's more for like to make it a personal device. But you can open the case, take out the board, and integrate it into your specific product. But if you need more custom sensors, then you have to design your own device. Maybe you don't have to design your own board, because there are other boards that already integrate a secure element and that you can use, starting from a simple Arduino to these Nordic semiconductor boards that we use in the Pebble Tracker, and just connect your sensors, different from the ones used by Pebble Tracker, and close into your product and install it wherever you are intended to install it.
So you know, Simone, and Damien, I hope that answers your question. Please let us know if it doesn't, so that we can talk more about it. But you know, Simone, I think I told you I signed you up for a in-person workshop in San Francisco in October for the ARM Dev Summit. We need to talk more about that, and that's also going to be, hopefully, if this all goes through and you or someone from IoTeX is able to do this workshop, developers can flock to San Francisco and get your hands on the Pebble Tracker and play with it.
Absolutely.
Simone will hold your hand through the whole process.
Absolutely. Either Pebble Trackers and other devices, we can definitely make a nice hands-on event where people can build real MachineFi applications. Maybe,
that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe toy applications, but still working.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good baby step into the developer world that IoTeX is building. So Simone, it doesn't look like any more questions have come through. That was a nice little question break there. I saw that you had the dev events slide up. Do we want to dive into that one?
Yes, this is just a quick update about dev events. This is an event I've been to for Ethereum Barcelona a few days ago this weekend. There was a nice hackathon event called BCN Hack, organized by Data Natives, where we sponsored the hackers, and we also had that workshop we were talking about during the office hours, where basically I tried to build an end-to-end walk-to-earn application using an Arduino Nano 33 IoT board, which also includes a secure element, and take it as a live example to explain the MachineFi methodology to build network of machines that are decentralized and autonomous. And yeah, it was pretty nice. Just the time was not enough. Hopefully, next event in Paris, Ethereum Paris, we will join the Ethereum ETH-CC event organized by Crypto.com for a presentation on the July 20, next week. And then on the day after, on Wednesday 21, we will have a nice 2 hours workshop where we'll have all the time to introduce these MachineFi concepts for developers and take them through building a real MachineFi application that shows these concepts for real. So the one that
sign up?
Sorry,
Can people still sign up for that workshop at the
I think it's open. It's open for everybody. There is a space for developers that they can just openly go there. Maybe we can share.
Yeah, let me try to find it. I'm looking at it right here. So here's the ETH-CC link. And then, yeah, if we can find that, we don't need to do it now, but everyone watching, we'll make sure to include everything we talk about in the description of the video when you watch it on demand. So you'll get access to these links. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, it's in Paris, somewhere near the Sorbonne University or something. We will post it in the description of the video for sure. So this one is a simple schema of the application I was describing during that session, which is not different from what you have seen from Pebble Tracker. Just the machine is different. It's just a board from Arduino. I picked this one because this one has a nice secure element, very popular one, integrated into the board. We also have a tutorial on our developer portal that shows how you can use this secure element to sign verifiable data and send this data using the MQTT library to a server. And then using the MachineFi get started on the same developer portal, you can learn how to deploy a simple server that can receive this data, and then how to deploy a device authorization contract that this server will use to make sure the data signature is correct. So the data has not been tampered with. The device who signed the data was authorized by us. So it's our own device that we manufactured. And eventually we'll just store the data. In this case, it's steps data, because this board also has a step counter inside. So it's just storing all steps data from the device. And it was intended to also have a token economy smart contract where, based on the steps, it will just distribute rewards to the device owners. So the concept is more or less always the same. It's do something to earn. Could be walking, could be sleeping, could be running a 3D printer, like we were talking about during the office hour. But the cycle of a MachineFi application that falls under the do something to earn is basically always the same.
I've thought about this. The whole walk to earn thing. I've
just
noticed.
An example, right?
I know it's just an example, but I've noticed people. I'm wondering if there's a workaround here, because people have found ways to kind of hack this walk to earn thing. And again, like I mentioned this in the office hours. Like you can tape your phone to like a fan and then run that fan, and as it turns around, it gets that motion and it tracks steps. In the early days, you could even put your phone on like a little vibrating massager, and it will track steps. And so, are there ways around this, or I mean, how? Like,
let's say
you have to correlate the GPS tracking data with your step count.
Yes, okay, not only that, people could build a robot if they want. So
is it going to be worth it?
Yeah. So eventually, everything it all depends about the incentive. So you can always hack the hardware, right? But the important step here is that you do not allow people to hack the data. So the software, the firmware. Then there are different solutions. You can implement, for example, deep learning or AI and combine different sensors. So start from combining different sensors like Jeremi suggested. So if you are doing steps, if you're doing steps, but you are not moving accordingly compared to the average step,
you get penalized.
Then you get penalized. And then you can add more sensors. So if your device is a waistband or it's a leg band, then you can detect body temperature. You can detect
or maybe you can
heart rate.
Enable different types. Like you can, for example, enable the mode of jogging on a stepper at home, or you can enable jogging, going.
And then all these data goes through an AI filter for sure. And if you pair these with some staking, for example, you have to stake a deposit and then you can get more trusted or less trusted, and then get penalized or incentivized. Then eventually you can get around. And eventually your goal is to have the majority, as many people as possible that are honest. And of course, you will always have to take into account those that will spend all their money to build a robot to fake running. Depending on how many sensors you want to monitor.
I'm thinking too old school. I'm thinking like, this is just the old school pedometers that just only track the motions going up and down, the momentums. And so, yes, you're right. It probably was a pretty dumb question there, because you just pair it up with GPS or some other thing, and then it's no longer broken. So yeah, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, actually, it's a very popular question. I've been asked this many times. But there is not much you can do, even for a verifiable weather station, right? You can mount it in a way that it's not reachable, but anybody can always find a way to reach it and fake the temperature, sensor, right? Then you have to implement, hardware consensus somehow, and then make sure people are more incentivized to be honest rather than to be malicious.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, there were apps on the iPhone and Android. It's just the type of game where you have to click a certain amount of times per minute or something, some crazy game like that. And people build machines and
with a stylus.
A stylus or like a sausage. My favorite one was like hack, where there was like a sausage on a drill bit, and the drill bit was people are ingenious. How to hack. That's great. Hardware.
So, Simone, you want to finish up this section, and then I got some more questions coming in for you.
I think let's end with questions. I had a few more updates, but I guess we can move them to the next call. Otherwise,
wow.
Yeah.
My goodness, time flies. It's already 12, or it's already 4 minutes until we're done with this call. Man, I guess when you're having fun, right? There's two more questions here, and one of them I think is going to be a very long answer because it's a pretty ambiguous question, but I do think it should be addressed, especially in one of these early calls. And it comes from, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this name because of the different words, the different symbols there, but Oscar Zehan from YouTube. He's asking, what is the importance of blockchain for IoT? Now, this is a very, very broad question, but I think if anyone can answer it, it's you, Simone, in the shortest amount of words possible, and then let's see what Jeremy has to say too.
In the shortest amount of words, it's very important.
Yes.
That's very important. No, it's too long, honestly, to answer. But as you have seen maybe quickly from the examples that we have been through this presentation, you can notice that the blockchain layer is, first of all, an authorization layer. And this is one of the biggest weaknesses of IoT and machines. So you can store machine identities on the blockchain. You can manage ownership of devices and machines with the actual owner of these machines and store it into smart contract. This allows to have a huge security that like normal IoT solutions do not provide. Taking ownership of a device is one thing that hackers can do. Like we see it every day, even with, baby cameras, getting accessed by and even managed by hackers. It's the simplest example, but could be anything, not just a camera, could be your car. But also, let's say firmware updates is an extremely important security issue for IoT. Imagine the firmware, your car, right? Your car that today gets updated over the air by the manufacturer firmware. What if that firmware is hacked? And tomorrow could be the firmware of every sensible machine, from military to space shuttle to your home door. And updating the firmware and making sure the firmware is coming from the actual manufacturer is another important step. And you can do it with decentralized identities and digital signature already. So these concepts alone already help IoT a lot. And then add all the possibilities that MachineFi, so the evolution of DeFi, MachineFi can do for tokenizing reward assets and all this stuff. Of course, blockchain is going to have a huge role into the evolution of IoT.
I feel like every vertical in the human world, like every vertical that we see, industrial IoT, automotive, IoT, infrastructure, like every single vertical can benefit from implementing blockchain in one way or another, either fully implementing it or partially implementing it. Every single aspect of our lives would change by doing that. I'm sorry, Jeremy, did you want to add something? We have a couple more minutes. We'll get this last question out of the way. I think it's the last one's easy. Did you want to add what's the importance of blockchain for IoT? Your perspective?
Yeah, so basically, my main point of view is the MachineFi benefit. The reason I say that is because currently the way the IoT systems are centralized is that a company has database servers, SQL entries, and SQL columns, tables with rows of data for each device. This data can easily be manipulated either by the centralized authority or by hackers. In events where you want to create communities of decentralized machines, you can create an economy which can be relied upon as a decentralized authority, and no one person will be able to simply change the code, or even if they try to change the code, there is a review process which would take care of that, and data manipulation is not an option unless it's a centralized project. But I'm most interested in decentralized MachineFi. That's my point of view where IoT will benefit the most.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. And so this last question here, I think, I don't know if we'll be able to answer this, but Arwell Lewis asks, will there be a waterproof UCam for outdoor use? I think this is a good question. The UCam is an amazing product. Though, are you able to answer this one?
Well, you guys, you should start building some devices. We are not device manufacturers. We lead by examples. But
there is actually, Simone, I just wanted to interrupt you for a minute because, there was this project, I think you powered it even on the IoTeX blockchain. It was the open source ESP32-C3 dev board, right? Mm-hmm. Which makes anyone can create a new board, a new device. Yes. And
you can create anything you want.
It's all open source.
But of course, we know very well that designing an IoT device or any device and manufacturing, going through the manufacturing, especially what we had to go through during the world chip shortage because of the COVID-19 and all the stuff, it's crazy. It's really crazy to design a device and put it on the market if it's not your everyday business. Hopefully, there will be something more that's UCam related. Just it's not so easy. We're not device manufacturers, but maybe the next evolution of technology that we will be working on in terms of research, maybe we will release it UCam related to, again, one more time show how to make it real.
Excellent. All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been a true pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and giving it to us here for this whole hour, talking about all the cool IoTeX developer related stuff that's happening. Do you mind if I close the stream out now?
Close it up.
Fine, please close it up.
Excellent. All right. Well, here we are, Simone, Jeremy, joining us for this episode of IoTeXperts Live Developer Updates. We got to cover a whole bunch of cool stuff. Simone walked us through the new IoTeX Developer Hub, where you can all go experience it now. The beta is live. Go check it out. https://developers.iotex.io. Again, all of the links we discussed during this call will be provided to you on demand in the YouTube video description. If you liked the video, don't forget, smash that like button. We're up to, give it that thumbs up right there. We're at 49 likes. Let's get it up to 50. Go copy that link, share it on your social media networks. But we do appreciate you all. We know you could have spent this hour anywhere else doing a bunch of other stuff, yet you spent it here with us, talking and listening about the cool IoTeX developer related activities we've been doing. So thank you all very much. We're going to close this out. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay tuned. Check out the Discord server. Join that Discord server because that's where we host all of our events. You can see it as we go live, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. We'll be here every other week at the same time. Thank you. Bye, Simone. Bye, Jeremy. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.